All right, good afternoon, everybody. I've got the recording started, and so we'll go ahead and get started with today's office hours. Our intention was to go over the newest release, which would be 1.0.5, but there was a slight delay, so we don't have that to show you today. Um, so we're just going to go over some quick tidbits, and then hopefully y'all have some questions for us, and we'll do some live demos. So I want to bring everybody's attention to the WFDSS homepage and where we've started posting alerts as we are still working towards notifications within the application and direct to users. We've decided that we could use this as a place that we can post those until that's ready. And so anyone who has a user actually got an email from us this morning with this first alert. And this is still ongoing. We have the think tank thinking about it right now, trying to figure out what's going on. But our ArcGIS server keeps shutting down every 3 hours. So trying to figure out what's happening there. So that is impacting only the incident layers. So not the analysis layers. So you can still draw, upload, copy, download barriers, landscape extents, masks, ignition files, and still run an analysis. But this is going to be specific to new planning areas or existing planning areas. They just will not show up on the map. Perimeters, strategic shapes, those things that are in that first drop down. We are working on it, as I said, and we'll update it here, and we will send out an email when we have that finally solved. So that's one. Another is in all the environments, PCL and the National Risk Assessment assets and drinking water CNVC layers are going to be transitioned tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. No, today. Yep, that's today. Today in about an hour, 2 hours, 5 p.m. Eastern through the weekend. Hopefully that'll be back up sooner than that. That shouldn't impact anyone who isn't using those layers, but they do show up and are summarized in the spatial inventory. So those values just won't be populated on there. We're tempting fate with this last one. EDU, our training environment, is going to lose connection with the incidents that are in there due to some reconfiguring at Irwin and our own system. And so we will briefly, temporarily lose connection with those incidents, and you won't be able to use EDU. So hopefully through this hour, we'll still continue to be able to use it. And we expect to have that back up by Friday afternoon. And then this is the last one. This one's been here a while. It's not really having to do with a system issue, but it is just a reminder of a frequently asked question. We do not have the ability within the application, within WFDSS EDU, to create an incident and start a decision from it. And so I'm going to bump over to EDU really quickly. Here we have a new incident button, and we can create all the new incidents we want, but we can't, there's no connection there. So there's no back end to that. And so you won't be able to do anything other than make a point on the map. So if you do need an incident for training or something like that, something a little larger in the meantime until we get that hooked up, you can contact us and we can try and work it out. For just your own personal use or small groups, we're asking that you work with one of the systems that has the ability to write to OAT, the Irwin OAT instance. And so there are several like training applications, I think 209, Inform. I believe those have lower level trainings that you can create incidents on and pull those up. Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
Would the Wildcat training environment be able to create those incidents as well?
We would have to check on what that writes to in Irwin, but yeah, something like that. I'm not sure if the training does or where that writes to, but we can look it up, or at least try. Okay, so those are the big updates that I had. We talked about the production map layers that are failing. So we can jump in with questions, whatever you guys want to talk about, demo, anything like that.
Hey, just real
Yes.
quick, Mark. WildCAD does write to that same environment, and I think it is their WildCAD training environment, but I can't be 100% on that. Sorry, I can tell that WildCAD is writing to there from something that they've got. So check with dispatch on that one.
I'm actually getting in there right now to see if it's possible.
Awesome.
Uh-huh. So that is part of our deployment that's going to happen on Friday to EDU is that we are switching. Currently, we read from Irwin OAT Next, and we're actually going to, excuse me, we're going to be pointed to OAT. So I feel like perhaps there's more applications that write to that, but I can't be sure on that. So I guess all that to say that currently today we are pointing to OAT Next. So what you're doing may not work today, but it would work Friday after a release. Does that make sense? It's a tangled web.
Well, they're writing to OAT Next right now. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right, but that's not what we read today.
That's what we're reading today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's what will be changing. And I would guess that WildCAD is going to make the same shift that we are. But again, I'm not a WildCAD user so much, so I might have to check with somebody on that team.
Same.
My only thought was that it would be a easy solution for the local people who are trying to create a training if that works.
Yeah,
Yep,
100%. And yeah, know that is still a priority for us, especially moving into the training season, that we have that available, along with some step-by-step tutorials for folks to create their own incident and then work through some steps. So know that is still on our list of things that we're looking towards. Once we're looking towards after fire season as well as what's happening during fire season, so that we can make sure that we have stuff available for you guys. Is there anything that anyone wants to go over? Something weird that they've seen, a actual incident?
Yeah, hi. This is Paul Hood. I'm from Grand Teton, and I just started working on the Crow Show fire in northern Colorado and trying to put together an FS Pro run. And when I create a landscape extent, it does not allow me to choose that extent from the drop-down menu under landscape in the FS Pro piece.
So that is not particularly a known issue, Paul, but I did talk to Carrie Newman about the same thing on the same fire. So let's jump in there, because I actually could go into your analysis and I could, in the drop down, pull up the landscape extent, and I could do the same in Carrie's. So it may be that you need to refresh.
I have logged back in.
Yeah, did the dance. And so there should be no reason that the person who created it, especially since you have an analyst role, because I looked at your roles already, that you shouldn't be able to create a landscape extent and then be able to use it. We did have, so we had some funkiness. Go ahead, Rick. You don't have to raise your hand.
Oh, sorry, trying to be polite. One thing is we have seen this a couple of times over the past 2 days when that GIS server that Sarah mentioned has gone out, and we've also seen that when they get it restarted, sometimes you will still see the same things until you clear your browser cache. So like on our team, we've had to clear it out like 2 or 3 times already today. You might try that one more step in the dance, especially if somebody else is able to see that in there and you're not. It could be something that got caught in the cache on your local machine there.
I see. Sarah, were you able to
No,
get it
I was
on?
not. And in fact, I
Okay.
saved one in Carrie's and it's not there anymore. So that is something to look at.
That's likely that's a problem with the GIS server right now then, and let me see if I can confirm that.
I've been trying for about an hour or so to do this.
Yeah.
I don't know if that matters, but
It is strange that I thought I saved it on Carrie. So usually when nothing populates in this resolution field model data source, it means that I'm not going to be able to hit this either. Yeah, that's down. So we can also see that the GIS server is down because these user-defined strategic shapes, those are grayed out and those are on that server specifically. So something is going on in prod right now.
okay. Can you try one other thing for me? Because I'm just trying to
Absolutely.
get something out, which is to go into Flam Map and produce a near term. But I created a perimeter in here this morning. If you go into layers and try to download a perimeter, the perimeter I made, which is in incident perimeters.
Yeah.
That one right there. And throw it as a shape file. Or I
You'll
was doing it
you'll
as a
get an
shape
error.
file. Oh,
Wow.
so I can't
All
do
of
it as a shape file.
No, you should be able to. I will get an error here as well because it's all on the same
Gotcha.
GIS server. Yes, they're all connected and we've been trying to test them all day. Yep. So this is an error that we'd never seen before today. So it's something that has to do with that server itself.
Okay.
I'll pull your perimeter out of ArcGIS Online for you and email it to you in a shapefile. It's that Veers one there you're seeing.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And maybe to make it more complicated, I am Park Service and also Forest Service. So I'm on my Forest Service computer here, just because for whatever reason I don't have this meeting or chat on my Park Service. But if you could send it to, I'll put it in the chat, my Park Service email.
And so for you, Paul, I also will say I did talk to Carrie Newman and he was asked to help with this. So he may be moving forward on this too. So it'd be good to communicate with him.
I just talked to him.
Did you?
I
Okay,
talked to him maybe a
perfect.
half hour ago. I reached out to him.
Okay.
He said he had just talked to you, and yeah, we're all set.
Fantastic. Yeah, we don't want to duplicate work, especially if stuff's not working.
Oh,
Okay.
Morgan Pence left me a message. I also wanted to note one other thing, as I just jumped in here like 2 hours ago and have had lots of issues, but the Wildfire Decision Support Center number, when I call it and then press 1, it just like goes into an abyss and nobody picks up and there's no noise. So, or there's nothing. Just throwing that out. And Carrie tried that too. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just spoke with Carrie. I have the phone goes to me right now. It's rang several times already, and I just called it with my other line, and it rang. So I'm trying to troubleshoot why it didn't work for you or Carrie.
Gotcha.
But I did just leave you a voicemail.
Okay. All right.
I wonder if it doesn't call forward when you're when you're already on the phone. Instead of, is your voicemail
Well,
full, Maureen?
I wasn't on I'm on this call on Teams.
Gotcha.
But I'll try to triangulate around that, see if I can find anything, but it has been ringing. Thanks for letting us know though.
Yeah.
Okay.
On that real quick, Paul, What
Yeah,
this will sound like a weird question, but what kind of phone do you have?
I have an iPhone.
Okay.
Non-government, if that matters. I don't know.
Now that it shouldn't, but I've noticed that if I sometimes that that number that we use to forward things from NIFC, I've gotten some weird behavior calling on a Samsung phone. Any other type of phone I have, I've never had that problem, but just kind of curious if that something might be related. Have not heard any reports of trouble with iPhones on it though.
This is Ron. I tried also with an iPhone, got the same issue.
Oh, maybe we have something new here. Okay.
Good luck.
iPhones are a problem.
Oh, good thing nobody has one of those, right? Oh.
I don't.
So what I'm hearing from what we've gone over so far is that I can't generate a landscape and I can't export a perimeter. So one, there's no way to move forward with the FS Pro. And if I move forward with a near term and plan map, I just need to create a perimeter in there. Is that where we're at?
Yes, but it should change within the next 10 to 15 minutes. They should be able to reboot that machine. It's just, I know they're in the meeting still. I believe they're in the meeting still trying to figure out what the root cause of it is, so it stops happening. So I wouldn't say that it's dead in the water today, but probably for the next half hour or so. And again, we'll post in this chat when it comes back up and when it's resolved.
Great.
Not ideal.
Thank you for walking
course.
through that with me.
Yes, it does not work. You are correct. It was not operator error for sure.
Thanks. Makes me feel.
Is there anything else folks want to look at? Any other issues that you've seen? Go ahead, Kip. I see you came off mute, so I'm going to call on you.
Sorry, that was a pocket off mute.
Oh, man. Okay. Okay, Karina's got her hand up.
Hi, so for the Gifford Fire first days of IA, I tried to go in and request the FS Pro, and it kept giving an error. So I wasn't sure if it submitted the request to somebody to start working on it. I just wondering if that function's still available, because that's usually one of the first things I do as an AA is submit for my fire modeling products.
And so
that's in Region 5, California.
Yeah. So we do know two things I will tell you is that there was a bug that we're resolving regarding that error. But the other part of it is that with WFDSS, we do not yet have the notifications. So when you request an analysis, that doesn't go to anyone, but it's a way to request it and say very specifically in the notes what you're looking for, and then for you to search, either work with somebody already known to you on your fire, or you can use the search users. Look for somebody who's an analyst, an editor, a GA editor, or support, because they all have analyst roles, and look for them in your area. You can even filter by agency if you wanted to. And so this would give you the contact numbers for all the folks that would be available to reach out to be able to process that request. But right now there's no link in the system between that request itself. So you don't have to request it in the system if you want to reach out specifically or you know somebody, but it's a good way to keep track of your notes. Like, I will do it over here.
Okay.
Because when you request an analysis, it's mandatory that you fill out that note field. So you can give, it's a place that the analyst can see what management questions you're trying to answer with the analysis, and some of the things that are important to you in that analysis.
And then another question, thank you. I think I
Mhm.
could try to get contacts before and just drop it in on our AA toolbox. The other question I had was, I think you might have answered it last time I asked, or maybe I haven't asked, so I'll ask again. Is there a way to publish a decision draft so we could see what it looks like before we sign the final decision, or are we not allowed to do that yet?
It's not available to you yet. It's definitely still one of those things that's being worked on. It's a very high priority thing to work on. However, oh, not in the right thing. What you can do is fill out your rationale and say this is a draft, and publish it as a draft.
Yeah, that's what I've
For
been
now,
doing.
just to see it and say, and then review it. Again, that's not ideal, but we will have that ability. It's also, so back on this reminder, you can always click on this flame icon in the upper left to get back to this homepage. We've added this frequently asked questions. This one right here is a case study. I think we talked about it last time. A case study of how Alaska is working with multiple approvers, and that is pretty much how they're doing it. They're publishing a decision and then having folks use that to concur, and then slipping that into the document for the final draft. So here, like right here, it says draft. This is being published so that everybody can be included. It's just one way that folks are working with multiple approvers. Multiple approvers is also high priority. We do have a lot of high priority things, which makes, if everything's important, nothing can be important, but yes, everything is important to us.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. Anybody else have anything that's come up in the last month or so? Yes, now that we know that Mark can create fires. I don't know, you should have published that or publicized that, Mark. Anything else that we want to talk about? This is your hour to give us the good and the bad. We can give you an idea of what we think our schedule is for our next deployment, and that is barring any unforeseen circumstances, is we do expect to push our release 1.0.5 this Friday to EDU specifically. And then I believe that's going to be pushed to production on Monday, all things being equal, all things going swimmingly. And so there's a lot of back and forth about what's in that deployment. So I don't know, is anybody on the call that knows what we're pushing out specifically? We tested a bunch of things. I'm going to put everybody else on the spot right now.
And it's a it's a mixed bag of updates and enhancements throughout the application. So there's a few changes to my home. There's definitely some improvements made to the decision approval assessment process. Some fixes for an analysis related to landscape rules, specifically canopy cover, and fixing some of the validation there so you can run canopy cover modifiers that are greater than 0.5, like you can't now. That was a bug that we got fixed. The paving the way for getting Farsight in the application that comes out. Some general errors with analysis summary. Some cleanup stuff for organizational assessment and relative risk.
Oh yeah, Part E of the PMS
Part
236 is going to be included.
No, that's in there.
Don't
bunch
forget
of
about
Irwin
the
stuff.
ERC chart, Wes.
Yep.
Oh yeah, our
all the
pretty
supporting
ERC
information.
chart.
Oh yay!
And we'll have a table that allows the analysts to compare weather stations based on current obs for those stations and elevation, as well as distance from the fire. So that should be pretty handy for folks. All those charts, including the windrows, will get put in its own accordion at the top of the analysis page under supporting information. So everything's kind of one-stop shop there. Bunch of map layer updates. Now, like I said, it's kind of a full mixed bag of things that we've been working on for the last several months. Getting little bit by little bit closer to getting multiple approvers in the system. So that's getting there. Not there yet, but we're getting there.
We should have the fix for automatically checking the elements for required decision elements, so that as
No.
things are marked, I thought we had that taken in final. Okay, sorry.
No, it's
old info.
It's still in QA. It's still in the pipeline. There was an issue. We didn't get it out like we wanted it to. And I'm really bummed about it.
Me too. So this is the ERC climatology graphs that Wes was talking about. So they automatically point to the nearest station, which is here. And if I change the station here, it'll change it here. So we'll go to Kelly. And once you add in, generate the ERC streams and forecasts, it'll put the 2025 and the forecast days in. And so you also can drop down the windrows here, but you have to go down and generate the wind matrix. So I've generated the matrix, and if I scroll back up, we get the windrows up there. And this can be collapsed in this accordion if you need more space. And like if I want to leave that open, I can collapse the climatology, the ERC stream and forecast, and then look at just the matrix numbers, the wind matrix. Cleans it up a little bit for you. So that is one that we are very excited. And we have places for more things. Okay, so where is the table? It's supposed to be in there. Maybe that didn't make it either.
No, the table should have made it. Are you in? You're in UAT.
I'm in UAT.
I was there yesterday.
So when this release comes out, Morgan's got the release notes, and they'll be here. What's up, Sam?
Oh, can you just go back to that real quick?
Yeah.
And then I don't have to pop UAT open to double check, but I could
There.
have swore it was in there. So shrink down that. Shrink down supporting information. Yeah, it should be in the weather station and climatology.
No, it should be in the supporting information.
Okay, I'll run that down.
So also we were talking about Part E really quickly. This is the incident complexity level. And so this was part of the PMS 236 revision that happened in June, and now it's in the application. Something that's different about it is you have the option here to not report it to Irwin, but you still have to fill it out. It's still a required field. So you'll still have to put in the incident complexity level versus what the unit recommended organization is, and that's going to be the value that's here attached to your narrative. So the unit recommended organization here is what will be here. We've taken out the type 1 and type 2 CIMTs to be consistent with the PMS 236. And so that's the difference. We also have help information to be able to identify what that is. Right now we don't have the field level help, but I do believe that we have it in here. I can't see. There we go. I have my fingers crossed that it's going to come up. It is not in there either. So we'll double check on that, but that should be clear to everybody. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
So the first column, the incident complexity, where do you get that number? Or is that just one that is?
That's
So
what I
you've got
was
the
trying to get.
1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, but I understand where you get the recommended organization.
Mm-hmm.
So the unit complexity level, is that an automatic, or do we put that? We have to populate
No,
that.
so you have to populate that, and that is again, let's just go to the PMS 236 to look at it. It's going to be based on the actual incident complexity, and so it's related to what line officers have the ability to sign off on, specifically in the Forest Service. So here it looks just like that, but we do have these indicators. So you'll use these indicators to determine which incident complexity level you are.
Thank you.
Yep.
Now I feel
And
stupid.
no, well, no. And so these will be in there. They'll just be that field level help where they have the question marks next to them. I don't want to spoil the next office hours by showing you guys all the fun stuff that's coming out. What else are folks interested in? I know this got, oh, go ahead, Karina.
So I'm just wondering if there's been like the ideal place to post all of our images. I've just been kind of playing with it and trying to find a place in like our what is it, our the middle, where's that field at? The strategy
like
or relative risk.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. No, strategy. I usually find a field there, but I'm just wondering if there's been like a known ideal location to post some of the images. So some of the images that are important to us are like the image from like the map that WFDSS is creating to include the planning area, the spot weather, the photos of the actual fire history, the actual fire out on the field, all of those images. And I'm just having trouble finding like a nice place where when it gets published, it looks pretty.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if there's been like kind of like somebody who's like been able to hack or been able to find like, hey, this is a cool place to put all the images.
Yeah. And, you know, it's maybe they don't all go together. And so I like the rationale for the map, because if you look at the table of contents on a completed decision, the rationale comes first. So then your map is upfront in the document. And then next is the strategy or the strategic course of action. And so something that you want next, you can tie into that. And so think about it more in terms of how that decision is laid out. Oh, I didn't publish anything on this one, so can't look at it. But like the fire behavior and the fire history, those really speak to some of the things in the relative risk, thinking about time is like severity and values and things like that, and even just in the organization and complexity, the duration. Some of those things fit really well with those boxes, and all of these are rich text boxes to be able to put those in. So maybe they don't all go together, but if you want them all together near the end of the document, you can look at the table of contents and drop it in. I think the last thing that comes in is the strategy. No, it is the organization and complexity, I think.
Okay,
you
now
have
you're
something,
answering
Les?
my question perfectly. I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Of course. This was answered in the chat, but Jonathan asked, what does it look like if you only have viewer access? And I can show you what it looks like. It looks like not much. You'll see that my home incidents, all of this is disabled. You can still get to user support, which sends you to the WFDS homepage user support section. You can get to the WFDS homepage. You can see probably just the national PL level because you wouldn't have assigned your own geographic area. And then you have the ability to look at the profile and the GAE staff, and that is it. So here you see there's just 3 things in that drop down, but if I go back to my regular role as support, then I get the search users as well. And now I have everything is active again. And again, this support dashboard, that's only going to be for support users, which is pretty much just the WFDS team and the RD&A and our developers. Another good reminder is if you are trying to add a collaborator to an incident and you can't find them in the collaborator dropdown, the first good check is to check under search users. And if you can't find them here, by using part of their last name, all of their name, they have not accessed this environment of the system. So they haven't been into, well, this is UAT, but they haven't been into EDU or prod because they're not connected to make that database record. So they may have an approved role in FAMOF, but they need to go back, log in at least once for you to be able to pick it up. And then likely, as the user trying to add them as a collaborator, you may have to go out of the incident and come back just to refresh that list for yourself. Anything else that folks are thinking about? For those of you that are on the IFTDIS mailing list, you got a newsletter yesterday about using IFTDIS in active wildfires. We have Wendy here. I don't know if I'm gonna put her on the spot to answer any questions about that, but again, where would we put that information? And so that's again where I'm thinking that those kinds of images or information or data would end up in that, don't want to go to prod, would end up in that relative risk or organization and complexity. You could even add them if they're a big part, or if you want to put them up front in the document, you can add them to the leader's intent or the triggers. It's a really good place in the triggers to say, hey, we modeled this with IFTDIS using the MTT model, the minimum travel time model. These were our assumptions, and this is the trigger based on these assumptions. I will, if I can figure it out, I'll post a link to that newsletter so folks can look at it, even if they aren't on the IFTDIS list. Are there any questions about that and what's available in IFTDIS? Anything you want to say, Wendy? Hi.
Hey, yeah, so we just sent that out so that people saw that there was, a potential backup for at least MTT. Of course, they can always run that in FlamMap as well. But, we're here and available too. So just as a backup until you guys get it loaded into WFDS.
Thanks, Wendy. Anything else folks are thinking about as we're almost midway through August? Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I just was going to say I tried to get into IFTDIS earlier and the service was down. Is it the same issue that, the
Right.
ArcGIS server maybe?
So today, was our deployment to prod day for the end of our sprint.
Okay.
And so if you go in now, you should be good to go. It's just those couple hours first thing in the morning every third, what's today? Is today Wednesday? Every third Wednesday, we do push to prod. So we've got some updated utilities in there. But yeah, you should be good to go if you go back in now.
Okay, thanks. And I've got the mic or whatever. I know you can't copy analysis, but is there any way to there's no way to copy landscapes or upload landscapes from FlamMap or other IFTDIS or other places? Are there? Do you have to repeat the landscape edits every run?
So you can create a landscape and do the edits in FlamMap, and you can upload that landscape into IFTDIS. We have our landscape tools, which has an upload feature, but you can also pull the landscape in IFTDIS and do the edits there as well if you choose to.
Okay, but then you can't pull it into WFDSS, right? There's no way to upload a
No,
landscape
you
in WFDSS.
can't.
Correct.
No, you can't
Okay.
upload into WFDSS, but I think you can do your landscape edits in WFDSS. And can you download your landscape from
Yes.
WFDSS? And
That's
then you
right.
can upload that landscape into IFTDIS. And I actually tested that last week and it worked fine.
Okay.
And you don't even have to run that analysis to get to the point where you can create the download of the TIFF for the LCP in WFDSS. So
just do that part and create the
yeah.
landscape and do your edits and then export or download it. Okay. Appreciate it.
And good news is that we are looking at drafts of what that copy analysis is going to look like. So that is on the horizon. Not ready yet, and it's not there yet, but that'll be available in WFDSS coming soon. I hope to tell you very soon that that's available, but yeah.
Was there a timeline on getting Farsight and MTT into WFDSS? Maybe I missed it.
No, you haven't missed it yet. So where we are at in the process, we have some of the screens set up for it in our testing environment, and we're fleshing out a bunch of the tickets for wiring stuff up on it. That puts it probably at least a couple of months out. That's a super rough estimate. We had some uncertainty about what's going into the release that comes out to EDU on Friday, and so stuff further out obviously has some uncertainty to it. But I've been looking at the screen tickets for it and get everything put together for wiring a back end on it right now. So it is in the works.
Yeah, and Rick's been spending a lot of time talking to us about how things will look, and being really thoughtful about being able to reuse parts of the application so that we can move a little quicker. Some of the things that are in FS Pro, whether or not we can reuse those, obviously like the landscape and landscape editor, that we've got that. So, and also thinking about what classic WFDSS used, and then how IFTDIS displays that information, or the inputs, so that we are kind of going forward with an endpoint in mind. So sometimes you got to go slow to go fast, but I think that's what that end goal is for everybody, is to make that very intuitive, but also cohesive. I wanted to show folks one more thing that we have in FS Pro. I think I showed this like 2 weeks ago. Here in statusing now, since we did move to the Fire Modeling Services Framework version 2, we now are able to track the ID number. And so if you have a run that fails or something's taken a long time, you can reach out with that FMSFI. Yes, this is spelled wrong, by the way, FMSF. we have some administrators who are able to look and see where that run is and how many runs it's gone through. What we've been seeing with FMSF version 2 is that runs are completing either really quickly, like under 10 minutes. There's a couple that take a couple hours, but we've seen some that go, I think the most I've seen is 12 and a half hours. And so that is a function of obviously the fuel model, fuel moisture, winds, and resolution. It doesn't have anything to do with hitting the edge of the extent, right, Rick? Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. So just know that if you are working in some grass shrub, and very dry, like you use the same, you don't change your fuel moistures in the weather, in the ERC bins. So I didn't change the fuel moisture. So you can see each of my bins has the same. That's also going to make it run everything in addition to my forecast. Oh, forecast doesn't work. So what else are folks looking for? You've got us for 13 more minutes, folks. We're here for you.
Also, we don't have a spatial fire planning call today for office hours, so if anybody has any issues related to that, we can answer those too.
Thanks, Wes. Anybody have any spatial fire planning? I don't know how new this is, but the other, it might not show up here. Other unit shapes are now included here, but they're also included in the spatial inventory, I believe. So if you wanted to look at them outside of your planning area, you can always go to the spatial fire planning, turn off some of this other stuff, and go straight to your other unit shapes here. And you can look at the point line and polygon and turn those on and see if there's any there. So here we have some points. Polygons look like little houses. Permitted camps, and so you can read more information about that and decide whether or not you want to add those as probably strategic assessments. If we click on this, here's just another refresh of how to get through this pop-up. You see here, there's 2 layers that intersect with the point that I clicked on, and use these little controls here at the bottom. So that's another thing to be cautious of, is if you pick one of these other unit shapes, and this is true of almost anything, that you want to zoom out and get an idea of, is this like a global layer? If you don't love this pop-up in the middle of your map, you can dock it. So you use this picture right here and it'll dock it down here. Then you can move your map. You can close your layer list and take a look. You can also, if you click on this list down here, it'll make a list of all the intersected layers. So if you had a whole bunch, you could just scroll through this list and select which one you wanted to go to. And then you could just undock it when you're done, if that's what you like. If you just care about what kind of shape it is, you can close that accordion. Little fun with maps. We are working on more micro videos to go through the whole process. So starting with, we already had one on how to search for a decision. And so now we're working through how to start a decision, how to add collaborators, role excuse me, system roles versus incident privileges, and we'll go through the map as well. And then all the way through, you know, I know we say left to right, top to bottom, but there's a lot of steps at each page that have some helpful tips. And we'll try and get those into the videos for you. If you have any helpful hints, I'd love to take them.
This is Mark again. I just, for all those that want me to create training incidents, you bribe your local dispatch. Everybody's got OAT and dispatch.
Yeah, but
Chocolate
you
usually
want
works.
Anything else folks have? And so how I got, just a reminder, is how I got this to show up everywhere is I clicked on the spatial fire planning at the bottom and I turned it on. So that's outside of what clips to that planning area. There's also, you can look at the land fire data if you're interested. It probably draws a lot faster if I'm zoomed in. So you can look at each of the layers of the land fire LCP. So you can look at what your canopy cover looks like across the landscape. This is all using the 2024 data. You can see that if you open it up. So here it's, it's the 2023. Fuel model is coming from Landfire 2023. So you can see canopy cover. And so just this gives you an idea of what's out there on your landscape without having to do an analysis. And you could take a print map of this and drop, if you save your print map as any of these image files that isn't a PDF, you can put it right into your document. If you download it as a PDF, it is geo-referenced, so it can be uploaded into other devices for navigation, but you can't drop a PDF into any of the text boxes within the application. And you can do it by layout, or we have landscape and portrait, or just the map itself. All right, we're running out of time. Who's got the final question or joke? Or wish list item. What's your wish list? You only get 6 minutes to tell me what's in your wish list, but I'll take it. Nobody?
Our wish
bite
list
on
for
this one.
WFDSS or our wish list in general?
Is there any way you guys could include the NFDRS charts that are being produced out of FIMS now?
No, because FIMS does not offer them up as a service, so we can't retrieve those charts. We have to build our own charts. We're starting to build those charts out with releasing that climatology chart for ERC in analysis after this 1.0.5 release. But we can't pass the FIMS charts over because they're not available for us to retrieve.
Okay, copy that. I'll cancel my wish.
Yeah, Wes's version is pretty good. I would say better than FEMS because it's adjustable.
Whoa. That's
whoa. I won't say better, but it's cohesive with this situation. So you can, if you set your month, your start and end dates, it will take that information. Whereas FEMS has said that they will only publish full year climatology graphs.
So we can,
Are
our
you doing the
charts
same
will
thing
plot.
with the live fuel moisture graphs as well? Are we going to be able to access those through WFDS?
I haven't built a live fuel moisture chart. If there was desire for that, we could probably pursue putting something together. It would take a little while to get it together. We started out with the wind rows, of course, but now we have the climatology chart. Shows max, average, minimum, and then the current year basically pulls your airstream data for the current year and in your forecast. So it helps you build your FS Pro run and see how things are lining up compared to, your max, your minimum, and your average. And then, but yeah, if there's other charts that analysts are feeling would be beneficial, we will include those in the future. The other chart that'll be coming out shortly is the fire size histogram for the outputs of the FS Pro. We have a chart in our development environment for that as well that you'll be able to get under run results. So we are putting charts into FS Pro, as time allows. So if there's something specific that folks are interested in, yeah, go ahead and ping me and let me know what it is, and we can draft something out. And I'll probably use you as a guinea pig to make sure we do it the right way the first time.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, live fuel moisture, at least from, Nevada, BLM, and Great Basin, I'm sure would be definitely a good one.
All right, got 2 minutes left. Thanks everybody for showing up. A lot of folks. Oh, Karina's got another question. Go ahead, Karina.
So this wish is being asked just because I realize that not all wishes come true. But just want to put the ask in there. It's really useful to have those old WFDS decisions. I was a bad kid and didn't know that which decisions were going to be useful. So I didn't download all of them. And so I wish I could go back in time and do that. So if they still exist somewhere in the universe and then one day there's a magical way to upload old decisions in this next gen, that would be amazing. But if this wish cannot come true, I totally understand and just wanted to put it out there.
It's coming true. I'm going to let Rick talk about it because he came off mute.
So yes, it is coming. So here's where we are at with it. We are just now getting built the page where you search for and find one of those incidents that was in the old WFDS version. And we are getting it to where you'll get just a couple of buttons to say, like, download all the decisions for this incident once you pick one. So we're testing the search screen right now. We have all of those decisions and published decisions, completed analyses, and stuff that came over from Classic. And so we are getting those copied into a spot where we can wire up the search to those and pull it. So that's one of those things we're testing on some of the steps of it right now and getting the rest of it wired up. And I think you should be looking for that in, again, a couple of months here, something like that.
Thank you so much.
And this is where it'll be here in this reports. And then we've actually changed this accordion name to say legacy incidents from WFDS prior to March 26th of 2025 or something like that, like whenever we started this system. So it's more intuitive of what that actually is. Yeah. All right, folks, thanks so much for coming. We'll have another call in 2 weeks. Thanks, everybody.